of the reasons we build things out of wood, out of larger dimensional lumber, and we cut it to smaller dimensional lumber and create structures like this is because it can take some of the imperfections of that material and stabilize them through the structure. 1x pine is inherently an unpredictable and unstable material. It's especially sensitive to moisture over the length of its life, and in the 1x12 and the way that it's rough cut at the mill, it's very subject to cupping and warping and twisting. And when you rip it into smaller pieces and build a new structure, your new structure is partly taking into consideration that tendency for this fast-grown and wide-grained lumber. It's not the same as the old growth lumber that used to be available 100 years ago or more. It's grown very fast on farms and harvested. And as such, the grain of this lumber is not as tight as it might have once been 75 years ago or more. And we don't want to be harvesting old growth lumber anyway, especially not for something that we're going to throw away or use for temporary. That's a real disservice to our natural world. But because of those imperfections and irregularities, you have less chance of stabilizing those irregularities with that structure. And you have an increased chance of stabilizing those irregularities with this structure. I can't tell you how many of those flats that are in stock that are 20 years old or more, they have a little bit of twist along the length of 14, 16 feet. And they're not true all the way up. The more structure you add, the more you create a true flat without having to go up to plywood or LVL, which is heavier and presents other issues when you're trying to screw your stage jacks on into your end grain. Your end grain of your plywood or LVL is not as stable as screwing into the solid pine. So this structure is very stable and helps eliminate some of those imperfections in the lumber itself through the added stabilization of the structure. I can see knots all over the place here, knots, and I'm not worried about those causing any stress long term because I've got this added structure.